Thanks for watching THV11 Plus. I'm Jurnee Taylor here with your weekend wrap up. Schools across Arkansas spent the week on high alert following several potential threats. Officials are investigating each case, but one in Cabot is now resolved. A student there is likely facing criminal charges. Rebecca Brown shares the superintendent's message and how state officials are reacting to the threats.
The safety of our children in schools is our highest priority. And recently, we faced a serious and alarming threat at Cabot High School.
Schools across the state are closely monitoring their campuses after several districts received potential school threats. Officials are increasing police presence, using lockdowns, and investigating all possible threats in hopes of calming fears and keeping everyone safe. It's those steps that led Cabot School District to a suspect who allegedly left a threat in the high school's bathroom earlier this week.
This student has admitted to making the threat and will face serious school consequences along with felony charges. Although the student claims there was no intent to harm anyone, the severity of the situation demands strict legal consequences.
In a released video on Thursday, Superintendent Tony Thurman says other students may have known the suspect was behind the threat and did not report it.
Those students will also face consequences.
The Cabot threat is just one of several schools reacting to the threats in the wake of last week's Georgia school shooting. The Arkansas Department of Education released a statement today about the concerning trends, saying, quote, "We are working with districts to implement additional safety measures stressed through LEARNs, and we also have been in contact with districts about the threats they are receiving. We have offered our support, and our Safe Schools unit stands ready to assist, offer guidance, and provide resources wherever needed. To prevent mass violence, the Federal Bureau of Investigation asks that you report any suspicious activity by first telling someone you trust and then contacting your local law enforcement, because Superintendent Thurman says every threat will always be taken seriously."
It is imperative for our students and your children to understand that there are consequences for posting threats regardless of intent. There are no jokes when it comes to student and staff safety.
Rebecca Brown, THV11 News.
A case of alleged police brutality was front and center at this week's Sherwood City Council meeting. A man is suing the city after he says an officer slammed him to the ground, causing a traumatic brain injury. Now the city moving forward to settle. Ashley Godwin was at the meeting that brought a proposed resolution.
It is important to not only prepare for trial and go to trial and do everything we need to do to win, but we also need to manage potential risks.
Municipal League Attorney Keith Wren presenting a settlement proposal to the Sherwood City Council for a lawsuit against the city for alleged police brutality. Robert Ward filed the lawsuit saying a Sherwood officer, quote, violently threw him to the ground, slamming his head into a brick and causing a traumatic brain injury back in 2019. According to case documents, Sherwood police were called to Ward's house for a noise complaint. When police arrived, the records say Ward used profanity and the officer proceeded to tell him not to use foul language. Ward responded saying it was his property and he would continue, which is not a crime. After a second time using profanity, officers arrested him. In a letter from the Arkansas Municipal League, settlement negotiations have not been successful. Ward's attorneys are asking for $3.5 million, and the league does not agree with that amount.
And while we believe that we will ultimately be successful and prevail at trial, that is ultimately up to the 12 jurors.
The league is presenting a settlement of $75,000 along with paying attorney's fees.
We have a motion by Councilmember Harmon.
The City Council unanimously approved the proposal. THV11 reached out to Ward's attorney for comment. He said, quote, "It's pretty insulting, not just to our client, but also to the concept of the First Amendment. We will see you in court." In Sherwood, Ashley Godwin, THV11 News.
We're now less than 2 months away from the November election, and thousands of Arkansans are taking this time to make sure they're able to make their voices heard. The deadline to register to vote is now less than a month away, and Brooke Buckner shows us what you need to know ahead of October 7th.
We've gotten requests from different organizations, churches. I mean, folks are really out there doing voter registration drives.
And that will continue throughout the next month before the October 7th deadline. Circuit and County Clerk of Pulaski County, Terry Hollingsworth, says voter registration has increased.
For August, 1,722 people have registered to vote. So those are new registrants, which is very good.
And Hollingsworth says about 45% of those new registrants are under the age of 30.
The young people are coming in.
Compared to the 2020 election, she says it's slightly down, but she expects more to register in September than August.
We're definitely going to have more than 1,700, I'm sure, within the month of September as we get closer and closer to the deadline.
UA Little Rock student Owen Haynes helps organize voter registration drives on campus and hopes to get more young voices involved.
I think it's super important that young people know that there's issues that can be changed. If people start voting as soon as they can, right when they turn 18 at the first election, they can, continue to vote for every election down the road.
To make sure you're registered, you can look up VoterView AR and put in your information to double check that it's all correct. And if you recently changed your address, you get a letter in the mail from the Secretary of State's office laying out the steps to take to make sure everything is up to date.
If they've gotten this letter and they find that their information is still wrong, then they please contact their clerk in whatever county they are in Arkansas. And of course, we here at Pulaski County would be happy to help them.
In Little Rock, Brooke Buckner, THV11 News.
As of this week, the Pulaski County Clerk's Office says more than 236,000 people are registered to vote. Again, the deadline to register is October 7th and Election Day is November 5th. And if you still need to register, we have all that information in one spot to prepare you for the upcoming election. Just text the word VOTE to 501-376-1111 and we'll send a link straight to your phone. The race everyone is watching is the one for the White House. Former President and Republican nominee Donald Trump continues to make false claims that the 2020 election was stolen, as he threatens to prosecute election officials who engage in unscrupulous behavior. Stephen Stock takes a closer look at the effect of those lies and threats and how they have an impact on the people who run our elections.
In Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, the job of overseeing elections is getting tougher as critics are getting nastier.
People want someone to be executed.
Supervisor Emily Cook's short tenure has been a rocky one.
I was the subject of a comment that said I should be drawn and quartered.
Just ask her boss, County Manager Ramilda Crocomo.
We should be thanking people like Emily. Don't threaten them, thank them.
Cook is the 5th director of elections in 5 years here.
You're seeing a mass exodus of institutional knowledge,
contributing to the county's problems in the 2022 midterms when 16 precincts ran out of ballot paper.
We had a brand new leadership team that had never run an election independently before.
And mistakes were made.
And mistakes are made.
The DA there blamed mistakes on lack of training and experience.
Mistakes happen in elections all the time, and they don't rock our democracy.
With the nonpartisan OSET Institute, Edward Perez researches voting technology and how elections are administered.
What does rock our democracy is when simple mistakes happen, and when you have bad faith actors that are putting them under a magnifying glass and saying this is the end of our democracy.
Luzerne County and Pennsylvania aren't the only places dealing with the high turnover of elections officials. CBS News analyzed data from around the country, and we found that compared to the last presidential election, 36%, more than a third of all elections officials, are new.
It's always a little bit of concern when there are new people.
Republican Cameron Quinn supervised elections in Virginia and thinks change and new blood can be a good thing.
You can have election officials who have been there too long and aren't really up to doing the job. The next person brings in strengths that were not the strengths of that person.
Whoever's in the job must bring transparency, says Texas Democrat Dana DeBeauvoir, who ran elections for 36 years.
We definitely want to make sure that we've got as open a door as possible, transparently. Let the sun shine in. Let voters see what's going on.
In Wilkes-Barre, that's exactly what Emily Cook and the county manager are doing.
I think what we have to do, especially for this election, is come out and say what we're doing and explain why we're doing it. And it makes everyone know that our elections are secure.
We created these task calendars that outline who is responsible for doing what and when they're supposed to do it. We include that in a weekly press release so that not only do we know in our office what needs to be done, but the public knows.
Despite the pressures and threats, Cook says she's dedicated to the job.
I absolutely love it. My great-grandmother was a poll worker way back when. I come from that mindset of serving my fellow citizens, and this is the way that I know how to do it.
Entrusted with the American process, striving for a fair and accurate election. For Eye on America, Stephen Stock, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Politicians down under are looking to ban young children from using social media. Australia will become one of the first countries in the world to impose age restrictions for platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Tina Kraus shows us how it would work.
Australia's Prime Minister says there's nothing social about social media, and his government plans to set a minimum age for teenagers to use it.
I want to see kids off their devices and onto the footy fields and the swimming pools and the tennis courts. We want them to have real experiences with real people, because we know that social media is causing social harm.
Australia will draw the line somewhere between 14 and 16 years old to prevent anyone younger from using social media platforms without their parents' permission.
You can see some crazy things that kids should not see on those platforms, so I think that's good.
But some experts warn the law could backfire, preventing younger kids from finding the support they need, or driving them to use social media secretly, increasing the danger.
This is a global issue that governments around the globe are trying to deal with.
More than a dozen U.S. states are pushing for legislation to protect children from online harm, including bullying. Utah requires minors under 18 to get parental consent before using platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Australia hopes to become one of the first countries in the world to set age limits after an initial trial of age verification technology. But questions remain about whether a ban will be enforceable or effective. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
In a sign of escalating concern over social media's impact, the U.S. Surgeon General recently called for putting tobacco-style warning labels on social media to warn users that the platforms can harm children's mental health. And just this week, Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin joined officials from dozens of states urging Congress to require a warning label for the Surgeon General on all social media platforms. Formula One is taking the world by storm, and the obsession is making its way to Arkansas. Still ahead, we're taking you to the museum that's putting the pedal to the metal for F1 fans. But first, let's check in on a claim about fall allergies.
As we leave summer and enter fall, experts warn many people will be reaching for the tissue box. But are there things you can do to mitigate these symptoms? Let's verify.
Our sources are the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology and Dr. Sandra Hong with the Cleveland Clinic.
Labor Day is about the time when fall allergies start. So when kids start going back to school, that's when you'll start to notice more of those allergy symptoms of itchy eyes, stuffy nose, drippy nose, lots of sneezing.
Information from the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology says ragweed, a tall willowy plant, is the most common culprit behind fall allergies. Ragweed packs its biggest punch from late July to early November. Dr. Hong says it's important to keep these allergens out of your home. You can do this by shutting your windows and remembering to take a shower after going outdoors. When it comes to medication, Dr. Hong says nasal steroids are a good option for relief, as well as antihistamines for symptoms like itchiness and sneezing. But she says if your allergies are really bad, it might be time to see an allergist.
Allergies can make people feel really miserable. It can really decrease people's quality of life. Kind of knowing what you're allergic to can be really helpful for us so that you can actually prevent those symptoms from happening.
Dr. Hahn says an allergist can identify what you're allergic to and offer other treatment options like allergy shots. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
I wish you could smell through the camera right now. This week we are in North Little Rock, and we're not just north of Little Rock, we're north of the city, and yes, that is how you say it. This spot is awesome. It serves incredible burgers, catfish, appetizers, and award-winning wings. What do you say? Let's eat it up.
North of the city.
That's what some people just call it now. We're going out to the north. We are north of everything Little Rock area, so I thought it was fitting for the location and, you know, the culture. What does it stand for? I say nachos, Angus beef, wings, fries.
And what is it like to own this place in your hometown?
It's a family affair. Like I mentioned, my brother graduated in North Little Rock in '98. He went the whole gamut from Boone Park all the way through the North Little Rock school system. TK, bartender, I graduated Old Main, '89. My son, '09. So, you know, the community, they know who we are.
There are wings from all over the place. You guys win first place at Wingstock.
We were the ones that were chosen through the judges.
So if I'm coming in, I'm trying wings, what do I need to expect?
Yeah, first bite, it'll hit you, you know, like what is all these combinations of flavors? So that's our goal. Raise your eyebrow as soon as you bite into it.
Don't got my vote.
Yeah, that's the reaction we look for.
Man, that is crunchy. The flavor is out of control. The sauce is so good. It's perfect. It's perfect.
All right.
This honey mustard sauce is one of the best sauces I've ever had in my life, and that is not hyperbole. Jerry, you're the man, sir. Congratulations. You are truly a champion. Quite literally, Jerry is a champion. Southwest egg rolls, no for the city. Beautiful. And look at the size of these things. These Southwest egg rolls are huge. Highly, highly recommend the sauce that is made here for the Southwest egg rolls. Some people cut their burgers in half. Not me, I dive right in. That's a big burger too. Ooh, that looks good. I love banana pudding too. You can fit every single dessert, every single thing right here on one of these big tables. Don't come here alone because you're not gonna be able to finish everything that you order. And then by 9 o'clock, you'll be on stage singing. And just like that, it's gone.
A business destroyed by the Memorial Day tornadoes in northwest Arkansas reopened this week, just not where it used to be. Susie Q was a Rogers staple for years until that weekend. Now, the former crew has moved to a new location and given it a new name.
The old Susie Q was famous for its burgers, hot dogs, and fries, and of course, its many flavors of malts and shakes. The old location that carried the name for 64 years was destroyed by the tornadoes. Well, now the crew at the destroyed building has opened inside the Northwest Arkansas Community College campus, offering that same great food with a new name, Goldie's.
That is actually the lady who ran it for the last 16, 17 years. One of her nicknames is Goldie, and she's had that nickname forever because she had Goldilocks and the Three Bears, so we named it after our mama. We're pretty much the same, but different.
Gina Lynn Miller worked at the old restaurant for the last 15 years. She was about to take over at the old location until the storms hit. Now she says she's thrilled to be open.
It feels great to be back to work and in our routine that we're used to, but we miss our customers. I can't stress it enough. We miss our regulars so much. We had so many regulars, they'd walk up and we'd know their order.
Diana Boss is in charge of food services at NWAC. She says inviting Goldie's onto the campus just made sense.
The college was in a position to be looking for a new food vendor, so reached out to them to see what their plans were, if they were going to land somewhere else or what they were doing, and offered them an opportunity to come and took me here at the college to see if this was a possibility for them. It's a wonderful thing for them, it's a wonderful thing for us, great for the community. So we are just very excited to have them.
Boss says the campus will have to do some work on parking in the short term,
so that when they do come, we can, hopefully it'll be easy for them to find a place to park.
In the meantime, Miller says she just wants to see some familiar faces.
We're ready for our regulars. We miss them so much, so much. The kids are great. They're so polite, but we miss our regulars.
You can find Goldie's Grill in between the bookstore and the coffee shop on the NWAC campus. A beloved piece of Little Rock history celebrated a big birthday this week. After the break, I'll show you the work being done to restore the 100-year-old carousel at the Little Rock Zoo. But first, let's head to the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts for a look at an all-new adrenaline-filled exhibit.
The Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts is known for its beautiful architecture and design, but this month they're taking a different approach, providing an up-close and personal look into the world of F1 racing that will surely give you a need for speed.
We've always said the museum is a place for everyone, and I think certainly the F1 car is showing that the museum is even a place for people who love racing and love cars.
Start your engines, check those gears, because the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts has an accelerating new exhibit on display.
I'm really excited to have an F1 car, a replica of an F1 car, and a driver's suit and helmet.
Beyond the F1 circuit, artistry and speed with Williams Racing takes museum goers behind the scenes right as you walk through the door.
We are so far enjoying it.
Yeah, enjoying indoor activity.
Like
oh wow.
The car.
Displayed in the atrium sits an exact replica of a Williams Racing car, helmet and suit, exploring the intricate designs and techniques of what Formula One is all about. A cross between the art and auto world opened doors for AMFA to introduce a first-of-its-kind piece to the natural state. Partnering with Williams Racing sponsor Stevens, AMFA director Victoria Ramirez said it only made sense to act fast and bring the bright blue beauty to Little Rock.
A car that's, as you said, lower to the ground than we expected. It's wider than we expected. The tires are bigger than we expected.
Visitors can watch an exclusive film that breaks down the step-by-step process of turning dreams into reality, as well as what it takes to design specific elements that make speeds of 210 miles per hour possible. Ramirez says it's the beauty of a sport so complex that makes this display a beautiful and a true work of art.
When we see an F1 car, we see a work of art. And so it made sense to bring the car not only to the museum, but to place it right in the middle of our atrium.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV11 News.
The Over the Jumps carousel is the last of its kind. It is a treasure. It is a living testament to a bygone era when artistry and amusement came together in a way that captivated people across the nation.
It was a big week for the Little Rock Zoo, where an iconic piece of Arkansas history reached a major milestone this week. The Over the Jumps carousel is now 100 years old, and you better believe the community was on hand to celebrate. The beloved attraction has easily given over 1 million rides since 1920, but all that hard work has left it in dire need of some tender love and care. I got the chance to talk with the man working to restore the landmark to its former glory. Take a look.
What I do with historic restoration is a niche market. I get most of the weird stuff that nobody else will touch.
Meet Michael Crenshaw, founder and lead restorationist at Little Rock Repair Shop. He and his team are taking on the tedious task of restoring a beloved staple at the Little Rock Zoo, the Over the Jumps carousel.
I rode on this when I was a kid. Friends of mine, two of the guys that were installing the horses with us, we all rode on this as a kid. Yeah. And everybody's faces always light up. There's never a frown when you're talking about a carousel.
It's that excitement that drives the Central Arkansas native.
These were hand carved in 1924 by the Herschel Spillman Engineering Company in North Tonawanda, New York. The work is exquisite. This was made as a traveling carousel originally. It wasn't made stationary until 1942.
That's when the carousel moved to Little Rock, and it hasn't left the capital city since. Initially part of the Fun Park at War Memorial Stadium, the city moved the carousel to the zoo in 2007.
Here's two right here.
Crenshaw has spent the last year restoring the iconic piece of history.
These do take time. They take about a week per horse on average from start to finish.
But he says there's still work to be done.
40 horses total on the carousel. I think after the ones we just finished installing, we have 8 left to finish, and then we have all 4 of the sleighs to do. Then we have these picture panels that are up above. That's going to be the research phase, and we'll figure out what goes in there.
The project is more than a job to Crenshaw and his team. It's a mission to keep history alive.
The carousel is on the National Historic Register. It's the last one left operational of its kind. It runs. You know, we've got 4 left of this undulating track style where the track goes up and down and up and down. There's 4 left. This is the only one of the 4 that runs. So we have a one of a kind here.
Nice.
We've really got something special.
And sometimes preserving history means bringing it into the future.
What really needs to happen here is at some point in time, this whole thing needs to be enclosed and this needs to be climate controlled. Yeah. We need air conditioning. See, look at this. We need air conditioning and we need heat in the winter. We need to bring this away from the outside, the exterior elements and stuff.
Until then, Crenshaw remains focused on making sure the carousel continues to do what it does best, bringing joy to everyone with each turn and gallop.
Inclusivity, this is for everybody. This is for the family, this is for kids, this is for everybody.
You can always learn more about the carousel and the zoo on THV11.com. That does it for your weekend wrap up. Thank you for joining us here on THV11 Plus. I'm Jurnee Taylor. We'll see you next week.